In a world filled with challenges and opportunities, it's not just about having big dreams, it's about having the right approach to turn those dreams into reality. Whether you're navigating the competitive landscape of business or seeking personal growth, it's all about the approach.
Welcome, everybody, to our next episode of The Approach, episode 4. I have a great show for you today. Just so that if you haven't seen the show before, this is all based on our background. I was an interrogator in the military, and everything about my job was about the approach that we took when we went in and talked to people or anything else. And I've taken that same concept and I've applied it to business. I've applied it to raising my kids. And so what I want to do is bring on high-level professionals to come on and be able to share their approaches, both to leadership and problem solving. So my co-host for today is Chris Salem, tremendous guy, very well-versed, been in the speaking and coaching and consulting business for a long time, high-level performer. And he empowers business leaders and organizations with an emotional intelligence foundation to elevate both business and sales success. With an expertise in business and sales acceleration, Chris delves into proven strategies which apply public speaking skills and other proven revenue and profit strategies for boosting business and sales effectiveness. He focuses on crafting influential presentations and crafting valuable customer experience strategies that resonate with audiences and drive sales. Chris works with organizations such as JP Morgan, Chase, Ralph Lauren, UTC, Pratt & Whitney, Raytheon, Oracle, GE Research, Bain Institute, Microchip Technologies, Anthem, U.S. Census Bureau, the U.S. Senate, United Healthcare, Ladder Creek Corporation, Hubble Corporation, Conning and Company, Foxwoods Casino, and NYPD Forensics Department, as well as universities. Just, man, I could just go on and on and on. So I can't even do him justice. So I'm going to let him come on. And I wanted to introduce Chris Salem.
Hey, Davis, thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
I'm glad to have you on. I know you were on as a guest in our last episode, but I was so excited about the stuff that you brought in. I really was excited to bring you on as a co-host.
Well, thank you. It is great to be back again in the co-host capacity. And yeah, we definitely have a special guest here to share a lot of insights today. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit, I know I kind of ran through your bio a little bit, but, tell us a little bit more about, what you're doing and who you're doing it for.
Well, some of the things that we're working on right now, Davis, are two things. We're working with organizations of all sizes, particularly more, small companies, mid-sized companies, and helping them to recraft or revamp their value propositions or market dominated position messages. Many businesses assume they know their audience. They assume they know how they align with their audiences. But after you go through an assessment and a series of questions, they quickly realize that is not usually the case to the level they thought. Yeah. So by revamping their messages to really align where their audience's challenges are that could be better, the results they seek and don't have now in this current moment. When I say this moment, like currently, not something 10, 15 years ago, but right now, they're able to really now build the right lead gen and prospecting platforms now that can actually convert more into business. In this case, you're enrolling more people, not selling more people. It's a big difference.
Yeah.
And in addition, we're teaching organizations of all sizes how to create influence, how to use public speaking skills to communicate at a new level using effective body language, tonality in their voice and words, and how they can create more impact to speak to those challenges that can be better to the results they seek and don't have for their audience, and thus build better rapport to now, build, add more business based upon relationships, not on a transaction level.
Yeah. Awesome. That there's just so much value in that. And companies, you talk about the evaluation and people have a perception of what they think or where they think they are and what they think they are. And then even that translates over into the organizational level. People have a perception of what they think, is going on. And then somebody from the outside comes in introduces some sort of assessment or evaluation and comes back with the results. And it seems to be consistent that, things aren't going exactly the way they thought they were.
No, absolutely. And it's great that when you can get a neutral party or a third party perspective, to kind of keep you honest and where improvements can be made. And that's where effective coaching, consulting, and training can be really beneficial to an organization.
Yeah. So you got a guest for us today. Why don't you talk a little bit about your guest?
Yeah. Well, we got we're going to be bringing on Carlos Sequeira. Carlos is ranked top 30 motivational speakers in the world. So Carlos is known for not only motivating but inspiring audiences of all sizes. He's got a powerful backstory. Someone that grew up in the barrio, so to speak, in Brazil. Went through a lot of hardships, and how he was able to rise from that. Go to work in the corporate world with Xfinity and become living basically, selling bread on the street in Brazil to now, running a multi-million-dollar sales operation at Xfinity, and then turned into an entrepreneur, motivational speaker. Has done a lot of work with Tony Robbins. He's known as the Latino Tony Robbins, and he's just as big, if not bigger, than Tony Robbins. Carlos is a big boy, but he's got a heart of gold and just a guy that just really shares from the heart and always does the right thing from integrity. So I'm excited to bring Carlos Sequeira on the show.
All right, let's bring Carlos up. Hey, Carlos, welcome to the show. Oh, you got to turn your mic on.
You're on mute.
What's going on, guys? It's a pleasure being here. Outstanding. Happy Friday, everyone.
TGIF, definitely.
Let's freaking go.
So, Carlos, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Let our audience know who you are.
Man, I'm just grateful to be here. As you guys know, I've been back to back today, third time speaking today, right? Talking about integrity and leading from the front. Chris and I, we are constantly out there speaking, and we love adding value. And all this love and value that we love helping people, it comes, from a very dark place. I often talk about on the stage, we only know love because we once experienced hate. And I often talk about, looking at darkness differently. Anybody here that's going through dark times, that's struggling to grow your business, your sales, maybe in your wedding with your team, in your wedding with your marriage, in your team, anything that you're going through, sometimes you're in that dark tunnel and you just want to run out of there. I want you guys to actually pause. I want you guys to actually experience the darkness. And you pause there for a second, like you are a Navy SEAL. And you close your eyes and you just be still. You just breathe for a second. Remind yourself that a lot of you here listening to us today, you have survived 100% of your worst days. I want you to be in that dark tunnel with your eyes closed, where your eyes will lit up. And then we'll forge the path that's going to take you to places that you once dreamed about. You see, guys, once upon a time, a little baby boy, 3 months old, he was about to have an incredible life. His father, a year prior, was going to become a priest. And then he saw his mom. Sometimes I often think, was that a curse? Because he died in a horrible car explosion. And it went from a beautiful Romeo and Juliet story to a story of poverty, lack, hopelessness, mental and physical abuse, death. They call my mother a viúva negra, the black widow. Not only my father died in a car explosion, my stepfather was murdered. So some of you are dealing with some dark right now. Let me tell you something. As God once told me and whispered to myself, your future doesn't have to equal your past unless you carry on the stories with you. Somebody out there needs to hear that again. I often train and mentor a lot of incredible people. Some people that you guys see on TV, on movies, singing, And we have powerful conversations because sometimes they want to end. I get the call when they're in the restroom, they have a pistol, they want to end their lives. And I tell them, hold it. And I go, yep, that was the whistle. And then I made a sound with my mouth and a red card. So I whistle at them. And I tell them, don't make me call my mama. Because if you do end your life, what is the message that you're going to be leaving to society, to your followers, to your loved ones? That every time that you see a struggle, that you go through a divorce, that you get released from your title and position in corporate America. If you give up and end your life, imagine how many others that care, that love you, will do the same. Is that the bar that you wanted to set? Or do you want to set a bar of a new standard to educate, to dominate? My goal in life, ladies and gentlemen, is to make sure that no more kids and women have to go through what I went through as a kid, my mom or my grandma, being abused behind closed doors. Lack, poverty. I sold bread on the streets at age 7 to help my mother leave the hood. Some of my friends that sold alongside me, they died, they were murdered, they didn't come back the next day. But we made a promise. Every day that we were done selling our stuff, I sold bread with a little coconut on top. My friends sold empanada, waters, and sodas. We all went together at the same place, location, early in the morning before people gathered to go to work on the bus. In the late 80s, early 90s in Brazil, a lot of the workers, they would all gather there downtown to hop on that bus. So we put ourselves in that place, in the location where they were going to be, to sell our goods and services. And at the end, we talk about it. Whoever leaves this place, it's always going to come back. We're never going to let the money, fame, material, likes, comments, how many followers we have, how many comments is in the bank account. None of that matters. We're not going to take none of that with us. For some of you that want to become a billionaire, let me give you a secret from a billionaire friend. When I ask him, what does it feel like? It's just another comment in the bank account. The insecurities, still there. The anxiety, still there. The comparison, still there. It never goes away, my friends. So make a peace today. If you have your family, if you can talk, if you can walk, if you can breathe, that's a good day. Make a decision today. What is your why? What are you doing? Why you do what you do? Why you're going to bring it and you're going to go. And the only person that you're going to aim to put out of business is yourself. You're no longer going to compare your chapter 3 or 10 with somebody else chapter 30. You're going to become better. And what am I doing here now? Speaking, communicating. You're going to master sales and marketing. Is your twin tickets to freedom. You're going to understand what is it keeping your clients awake in the night. What is the pain that they are going through? How can you speak to that pain by passing their shield, which is the conscious mind that can only debates and hesitates? Imagine learning how to talk to the subconscious mind that can only say yes to you, to your products, to inviting you to speak on that stage, to pay you big money to speak on that stage, to buy your course, to pay, to go into your mastermind. Imagine speaking to that part of the mind that can only say yes to you. Imagine developing those superpowers that nobody's teaching. No gurus wanting to understand this. They didn't even know how to teach. Imagine teaching that and raising the standard and the bar in your industry and being the one that adds the most value than anybody else. You see, ladies and gentlemen, for me, it's not business. Some of you be like, Carlos, why do you give so much golden for free? Why do you teach so much? Because for me, it's personal. For me, it's no more kids and no more women going to have to suffer. Not in my lifetime. And long after I am dead, they will say, Carlos was here and he did help made poverty history. He helped accelerate and end sex trafficking and organ trafficking. And that's what I am here, to inspire, to empower you, listening, watching us, to raise the bar, to become a category of one, and to only give yourself a run for your money. Let's go, baby. Let's freaking go.
That is awesome. That's a hard intro to work with.
Oh, man, you guys got me fired up. This happened to be my third time speaking today, and I had people crying on the last one. They was asking all kinds of cool questions, and I don't know how not to hold back. I literally, as you guys can feel in my voice, I want somebody listening here today, I want to be able to give that person something that they can take home, apply it, and go get a win for yourself. Because when you focus on that, Davis and Chris, you know this, we speak so much. When you focus on having no expectation, when you are on that stage, when you go to a networking event, when you are speaking, and you focus on serving, now it's like you in flow. You know what I mean? It's like God's energy. You are a force of good. You are a force of God. All the other speakers, they might have an agenda. You wanted to serve. You wanted to empower. You wanted to give that person a win or two, a framework that you can now take it home and go apply it and go make some money. And I promise you, when you focus on that, you don't have to ask for the money. You don't have to spam people out there. They will come to you. You literally become a magnet. That's what happened to many of the people that Chris and I mentor. All they want is to be on more stages. Everybody has a voice, but they don't know how to communicate to the part of the mind that says yes to you. They don't know how to speak to those pains in a way by separating yourself from the pack. If you think about it, right, when you look at posts on social media, it's a lot of mediocre stuff. You don't want to be like everybody else. Everybody who's listening to me now, yeah, you listening to me now. I want you guys to think about this. You don't want to be like everybody else and be part of the sea of sameness. Write this thing down. Writing is the doing part of thinking. You must do what others don't do, can't do, and will not think of doing. Before you hitting that post button, before you creating the questions for your podcast and your interviews and you put newsletters and you do anything, I want you to really think about truly. I want you to become, I used to be a Marine in Brazil. Let's become a unit here. It's about transcendence. It's above oneself. It's not about me or Chris or Davis. It's about all of us. Those over here, 3 communities coming together. What does community stand for? It's coming in unity. What does transcendence stand for? It's above oneself. Everybody else coming home. There's no casualties. Nobody dies today. There's plenty of food and money to be made. There are 7+ billion people out there. I promise you, you will find 10 or 20 people per year to give you 5 or 10 grand for your coaching, coursing, mastermind, where you can make 6 figures from home. All you have to understand is make a decision, draw a line in the sand. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to master sales and marketing. I'm going to master speaking to the subconscious mind like Carlos teaches it. How you master how to stay away from the conscious, which is maybe, yes, no, no, hell no, refuse it. You feel me? I see too many people die, man, and suffer, and I just refuse it. I go for the no, and I just dance about it. When, you know what I mean? I don't listen to naysayers. I just, you know, it's all about like being me. Like here, you're playing full out. It's no script. I'm the same way you listening to me now, and the way how I am at home. Chris knows me when we're out there, we're playing, we're having fun, you know, and it's about raising the bar, man. I hope that somebody's listening here and taking this to the heart. Make a decision, right? And really understand why you're doing this. And then master, do data mining. Go ask your clients, when did you decide it emotionally and financially to hire me as your coach, as your consultant, as your speaker, to buy my product, to subscribe to my podcast, to subscribe to my YouTube channel? When did you decide it? At what moment? Let's pinpoint it. Let's go military again. I want to know in the heart of hearts, when did you decide it? When you raise your hand and you say, you know what? Yeah, Carlos, you were talking about you doing the little card thing on the stage. Or you were talking about when you were selling bread, or when you roll up on the Oscars on a bicycle and you threw bread at celebrities. You were talking about that story. Or you had this book in your hand, Work Like an Immigrant. What a great, see, look what am I doing here, guys. This is a teaching moment. I'm teaching, I'm entertaining you guys, I'm educating, I'm holding a book. Now I just pre-frame you guys. You guys probably are thinking, there are crazy stories here in this book. Hundreds of thousands of value in this book for free. We donate 100% of the money towards feeding families facing hunger. But look what I just did. It's a teaching moment. I made a plug. It's very subtle. You see what I did? It's about like being you, educate, teach, put out great content, add so much value. From time to time, plug it in the things that you offer that's going to help advance them. Continue that conversation with you. You know, some of you guys might be thinking, okay, Carlos, you're talking about bypassing the conscious mind. How do I do it? All right, great question. Here's what I want you guys to do. If you guys follow me on YouTube, my biggest mistake ever was not constantly repurposing the videos that I put it on Facebook and MySpace. Who here remembers MySpace? Right? I wish when YouTube came on board in 2005, my biggest mistake was not repurposing the stuff there. To this day, I regret, but I think everything happens for a reason. So I want to challenge you guys every time you put out a content from now on, like even this video here, right? Like David, he can cut this video. You can use AI cutting 20, 30 pieces and put it out there, shorts and reels and long form videos. Yeah. Not only I want you guys to understand what does your client want? What is it keeping them up at night? What are they struggling with? What is that pain, the problem that you solve with your superpowers? I want you guys to practice telling stories, communicating to the subconscious mind. And then before you hit that post, before you put in content out, make sure that you are really, really being tactical about before posting it. And I'm going to give you guys a few tools. So it's not just me teaching and entertaining you guys here. You're actually having a practical tool to take it home with you. And this is a teaching moment, guys. When you are out there speaking on podcasts or on the stage, online or offline, I want you guys to apply this. Because you're not pitching, you're giving them value, and you're giving them a tool. Like I told you guys about the book, it's a tool. Now, one more tool, even more powerful, is my free PDF, 7-figure word patterns that connects, converts, and it creates a buying frenzy. Get ready for a free, priceless PDF tool. All you got to do, you go on my website, getonmorestages.com. It's going to be a button there. They're going to say free PDF. I want you guys to click, read it, study it. And before you put any piece of content now, from now on, I want you guys to apply that stuff. Watch your conversions, your followers. And again, this is on the long game. We're not talking about getting rich overnight. We are here for the long game. I was 7 years old selling that bread 33 plus years ago. And I told myself I will become that guy one day that comes back and inspire and empower. But I made a decision. It's not business. It's personal. I don't care if one person if one person download the freaking PDF, I'll keep it going for the rest of my life. So I want you guys to make that decision here today. Re-listen to this show. Apply. Go grab the tool. Where did you go? getonmorestages.com. And then you follow me on YouTube at Carlos Inspires. Watch some of the videos, the stuff that I teach, and go apply it. Go make some money. Go donate that money to your favorite cause. Chris has a good cause as well, but I don't want to be buyers here. So I want you guys to pick whatever feels you up, because at the end of the day, the life that you live is based upon the things that you preach. But yeah, my friends. So you guys got me super fired up.
I'm glad that we got you warmed up. You know, you had 2 other shows to get warmed up with. That way you come on here on fire.
No, one was the paid gig, or that I have to speak. It was a paid, Zoom gig. Imagine getting paid $5,000 to speak for an hour, right? It's like, and that's why I love the stages. You can speak from home, you can travel, and it's not hard. It's like being you, like being authentic, sharing your stuff. And when you wake up in the morning, don't compare you to nobody. You only have to know a little bit more. Look what the top 10 guys are doing right now in your niche. And now ask yourself, what else can I do that's different? How can I spin it and add my own perspective, teach my own story? So now I'm not a copycat like everybody. You being yourself. And then you being tactical, like you're thinking about, okay, I have this thing that I always talk about, 5 content strategies that stand out. The number one is the most important, which is know your audience from a subconscious level. What are they thinking? What do they want? What do they want now? What is it keeping them awake in the night, right? I will drill on that like I'm a freaking pastor or priest. Because why? If you speak to that, what does that do? It generates yes messages to you, my friends. More followers, more money, more stages, more everything that you want. Like I literally wish I had more time in here on the stage today, but I only have so much time. But you listening to me and watching me, you deserve more. Real talk.
Awesome. Truly awesome. So one of the things I like to get into is because my whole platform is on leadership, and I specifically talk about resiliency, the resilient mindset. By no means do I have the story background that you do, Carlos, but I'm coming from a place where I was homeless as a teenager, got kicked out of my house, and had to figure things out on my own terms, and ended up going in the military as well, and that got me off the streets and allowed me to start working through my process of developing and growing and getting better to where I can be able to impart it into people as well. And it really talks, you're talking about people that are on the edge and considering taking themselves out. I talk to a lot of veterans. I'm in that veteran community, and it's a serious problem. And they need some inspiration. They need somebody to be able to tell them that you have a new purpose. You can have a new mission. You can put the old mission behind you. Let's move on with the new one to be able to continue to to inspire and allow people to learn from what you've experienced. So,
amen, brother. Amen, man. Now, we love helping our military. Chris, he knows every time military folks, they come to us. You guys can look us up, some of our endorsements and testimonials, a bunch of folks in the military that we allow them in. We give them scholarships. It's like I talk about, it's easy to say something and be biased, but when you lead from the front and you actually show, we're supporting so many causes, man. At the end of the day, it's like they're out there, man. They are risking their lives. And sometimes, you guys, you don't understand. Some of these missions, you might shot a kid or a woman by mistake, and that shit hunts you down. And through leadership, it's dealing with those demons. Same way how we deal in military, you guys can deal in the Fortune 500 space, Fortune 1000, small businesses. Whatever is that thing that's hunting you down, that one mistake that you made, maybe, you screw up, whatever that is. Like facing it, talking about it with somebody else, and having that deep, that tough conversation, and now allowing the sand, and then say, you know what, sorry, God, I pray for that family, whatever the mistake it was, and they kind of move on, and knowing that, it's like God would never put us through something if He didn't think we can handle, and being that leader. I often have this. I have a lot of frameworks. This one for all the leaders out there, I call the KGS. Right, a leader is the one that knows the way. That's the K. G, goes the way. And then S, shows the way. That's the KGS leadership, right? You know the way, you show the way, you know the way, you go the way, and you show the way. And you become that person. You screw up, be the first one. Raise the hand. That's what a true general does in war. He's like, no, it wasn't the lieutenant or the sergeant. It was my fault. I'm the one that put the mission together. Same thing happens. We can apply the same principles in corporate. And then they can hire people like you, Chris, myself, to come in and I'll teach, educate, whatever it is. Emotional intelligence, sales, mindset, whatever battles they are dealing with. Because if we apply emotional intelligence to their battles, now we can improve their KPIs, their metrics, and their numbers by going deep and figuring it out what the problem is. Let's deal with it. Let's apply a few strategies and some of the proprietary frameworks that we use to now help those corporations enhance it, whatever the problems they are dealing with, their sales, their customer service, as it all comes down. And that's why I love teaching military how to become speaker, coaches, and consultants, because they have the military training, accountability, mindset, their inner beast. And then we teach them some of our proprietary stuff, and we scholarship them into our programs. Most people out there, they're greedy, right? They won't taught you or teach you something unless you pay 10, 15, 20 grand. I talk about, if you are so good, let that person in maybe for a few thousand. Do a payment program for them. Give them a win. Make them some money before asking for it. And I promise you, they're going to come back with an army. They will come back with a team. They will refer you. They will talk about you. And that's how you take somebody from being a client to a family, to a raving fan. So let's go, baby. Hoorah.
All right. So I've got a scenario that I want to throw out. I want to get your perspectives on it. So it was something that hit me this week. I saw it. I watch a Facebook programs called Urban Valor, and they interview veterans, combat veterans, and share their stories. And not all of them. I mean, some of them are special operators. Some of them are just frontline guys, and that have just really been through some stuff. And one of the things that I saw this week really hit home. Because it actually had happened to me at one point in time. So just kind of sum up this guy that was part of MARSOC, the Marine Special Operations Command, had a guy that was a K9 operator that was with them, hit an IED, and basically, long story short, that guy ended up getting killed. And then he called back to that guy's battalion commander and said, "I want to put this guy in for a Bronze Star and get him a field promotion to go home with." And the battalion commander came back and said, "I don't have one, so he's not getting one." And so he ended up going above that guy's head, and he did send that guy home, with a promotion and a Bronze Star. But for people that are that mindset, because I had it happen to me, I had a couple of awards that I was put in for, high-level awards for some things that I had been involved in, and had them downgraded for the same reason. Or the one of them was that, well, you haven't achieved a rank high enough to be able to deserve a medal for that, for that level. So my question is that how do you get somebody past that mindset to where they don't think that way anymore?
That's a great question, man. That's a really great question. And as you're talking about, I'm just, thinking about so many stories. I have so many friends that die in military, Americans that in a lot of stories, as you were talking about some of the stuff, that they deserved that medal and they didn't got it. So as you were talking about, my mind went there, and this is just great human beings. Yeah. But it's, one thing that I always talk about, Davis, is like some humans, man, like the more that I study the mind, the more that it intrigues me, because how it is. And that's not just in military, right? In corporate America, it's always, it's going to be jealousy. It's going to be conflict. They're going to make prejudgments. They're going to make all these things that I talk about. There's going to be in the conscious mind, right? They don't even know you. They judge in a book by its cover, right? They don't know how much demons you are facing with, right? And then, especially when you know that somebody died in a mission and he's out there, he gave it all he got on that mission to help his brothers and sisters, and then he died. And a few people came back because of that person. And then for you to come up and say, "Oh, that person doesn't deserve because I don't have one." You know what I mean? It's like some things, man, it's the human beings, man. It's like the shit that I see it out there. Sorry for my French. It's just like I see a lot of crazy stuff out there. Things that we cannot explain, right? It's just like not humane. It's like we're not being human beings anymore, right? It's like you see a lot of, especially since COVID, I noticed that a lot of separation, people all cooked up. And I noticed envious, hate. And then now people went back to corporate. You've seen a lot of conflict, not just in corporate, like I say, also in military. And that's what it comes to mind, it's a very, it literally goes back to the stuff that I'm talking about here, like jealousy and hate and envy. And it's like, oh, this person, it's like, because it is a messed up situation. I would love to hear you guys' perspective, Chris, because you also talk a lot about emotional intelligence. I would love to hear.
Yeah, no, I'd be happy to share. I mean, when, people go through various experiences, negative experiences, traumas, especially if you were in the military, you could have been exposed to a lot of traumatic experiences that could have led to PTSD and a lot of other things that people go through. Now, well, it's going to be different situations. People are going to experience similar things just on different levels. But as to what Davis is involved in with resilient leadership, resiliency starts with the self. If we're going to be a resilient leader, we have to do these things for ourselves. We have to fill our cup in order to be the example and be a resource to inspire our team to do so. We can't do it for them. That won't help them. That makes people to be dependent. A great leader, even in the military, is not going to just do it for his men or women. He's going to be the example and be a resource for them to step up in their role and duties. Now, where I'm going with this is that when we can continuously be an example from resiliency to look at challenges, whether or things that have happened to us in the past, and now we're facing current challenges, obstacles, problems, is not to see it for what it is, for that it's a problem. We have to be able to use our resiliency to say, this is happening for me, not to me. So the attitude is different. If it's happening to me, then I'm going to resist it. I'm going to run away from it. I'm going to use every excuse. I'm going to point the finger. I'm going to complain and gossip about why things aren't working out. But if I can see it happening for me, now I see it as an opportunity. How can I turn that challenge or that obstacle or problem into an opportunity? And then from that opportunity, how do I turn it into results, a solution? Now, when I'm showing up and I'm being an example of that and how I approach that from instead of passive aggressive communication, but from assertive communication, I'm now responding to it not from passive and aggressive behavior, but from assertive behavior. I'm seeing it as happening for me, not to me. And I'm choosing to respond, even if I'm dealing with a negative emotion. I'm not operating from the negative emotion. I'm not reacting from it. I'm responding, knowing that something good will come from this unpleasant experience. And I'm taking massive action to what I can control in the moment from intentions. And I'm letting go of what I can't control. And that is other people in situations. I have to be able to see this situation for what it is, not what I think it should be. As soon as I start to see it as what I think it should be, I'm going to gravitate to the control I can't control. I'm going to try to control the outcome. I'm going to try to will my way to make it work. I'm going to just, I'm not going to be open for new ideas. And these are the things that keep people trapped. Great resilient leaders set the example. They be the example. They be a resource to change their thinking. They bring everything into the moment to control what they can. And that's their communication to themselves and others, behavior, attitude, emotions, and their action. And the same 5 things, they leave it with other people in situations. You can't control it. When now we can use resiliency in that way, not on a situational basis, but on an ongoing basis, that example of resourcefulness goes a long way to inspire people to do the same. It's contagious over time. It doesn't mean everyone's going to do it or change, but it's going to inspire other people. And that's what builds a winning team. And that's what, again, helps a team to look at a challenge as an opportunity to turn it into a solution.
Amen, brother.
Yeah. So, yeah, because from my perspective, because I'm looking at that from I can look at, I'm seeing it that way in a military aspect, that scenario, but I've also seen it happen in the business world. And, I've seen where people that are in charge will take other people's work, take credit for it. Or it's just a constant grind. And, your people have to have that little attaboy every once in a while just to, have a little bit of positive influence on it. And for me, it's a mindset. It's a mindset of what are you focused on? Because people that tend to do things like that are focused on themselves, not on the team and the mission at hand, and what's best for the organization overall. They're focused on what's best for them. And so there's got to be a mindset shift that has to take place. And it's, as far as an organization is concerned, because you guys go into businesses and do consulting, you do, we talked about assessments, and you assess and you find that element in there, and and then you've got to go to the administration to be able to say, all right, this is what we've identified, and we've got to be able to lay out some groundwork to either create a shift, or there may be some decisions that have to be made where that individual is concerned to for the overall chemistry and dynamic of your organization or your company. And so it's that ability to be able to take that individual, get them to stop focusing on themselves. And it could be because of something that happened to them in their past, something that shaped that mindset that caused them to just constantly focus on what's best for them. Zig Ziglar said it best. He said, a lot of times people, work and strive and claw to climb to the top of a ladder, but what's at the top of that ladder when you get up there? And why did you climb that particular ladder? Because what you think is up there may not necessarily be. And so you got to get them focused on the right ladder.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, resiliency is it's a daily thing. It's not a situational thing. And as soon as we see it as situational, we react. We see it as a daily occurrence in a positive way. We can respond. We can be proactive, and that's what moves us through those challenges to turn them into opportunities to results.
Yeah, for example, like in my previous stage that I was talking earlier, somebody asked me like, how did you deal, Carlos, with all this craziness that's throwing you away? Because I often tell people, there's ups and downs. The battle is constant, right? New levels, new devils. You guys want to grow, right? Your brand, your businesses, maybe it's to the next 7 mil, 10 mil, 30 mil, 50 mil, whatever is the next level for you guys. And it's always going to be something. And the greatest thing that I learned is was from my grandma, was to reframe, right, that positive into negative. She often say, hey, son, é melhor sorrir do que chorar, which means it's better to laugh instead of crying. And sometimes, you pause and you breathe and you act like I talk about, like being a Navy SEAL, you're in the tunnel and you breathe and you close your eyes and just that pause and you just ask a better question. What else does this mean before engaging with that general or with that CEO or whatever the situation may be? You as a CEO may be dealing with a difficult, director or manager or personnel, and where sometimes that pause, right, and staying there for a minute before engaging. Let me get back to you on that and give yourself a couple of hours, give yourself a day versus go where the mind is going to, the fight or flight. You know what I mean? And it goes way more deeper. It really comes down to, applying that emotional intelligence constantly and building that resilience mindset.
Yeah. And to me, it's also an awareness, in the military. So, people in the military don't do things for the sake of trying to get a medal. At least the majority of them, they have that mindset of, I'm doing my job. I'm going to go above and beyond. I'm going to do whatever needs to be done to get the mission done. Yeah. And it is the responsibility of the people in charge to be able to recognize those exceptional, exceptional tasks and activities and things that they've done and actions that they've done to be able to go above and beyond. And it's our responsibility to make sure that they're recognized for that as the leader in an organization. And so, when that doesn't happen, you have failed your team. You failed your team because, they're not going to continue to grind and put forth effort, only to just either have it taken away or, never get recognized for what they've done.
Yeah. It's so true, but sometimes it's the little things, right? Because it's always somebody watching, right? If you think about it, and that little action, right, to take that person on the side, recognizing them, now you literally can set that fire in the entire team. But such a small, random act of kindness, right? No. To recognize that person. It could be something so silly. It could be a Visa gift card, right? From Amazon or Starbucks or whatever, right? It's something so small. Could it be how much does it cost to create a trophy, resilience, well done, what I mean, and make it nice and freaking name it 3D and give that to that person, that award. It's the small act that you're doing that could fire everybody else up on that team to go. And now like, whoa, what happened here this month? We were doing barely getting 100% or 99. Now we are 130. Oh, it's just the small stuff. And we tend to sometimes a lot of CEOs, they got the blind spots. They don't have like, a consultant, like somebody like on our level should be there, like to reach out to, hey, come in on a quarterly basis, on a biannually to come in and do a training, helping me. Because oftentimes we are saying the same thing as CEOs. But when you have a consultant that been there, that have the receipts, that done it, and you have the person come in, we often saying the same stuff. Oh my God, did you saw what Chris said? Did you saw what David said? Did you saw what Carlos said? And you're like, what the heck? I've been talking about this the entire year, right? But it's just a different perspective. We're telling them a different story. But sometimes that one thing that will tickle and now will get you to be like, you know what? I get it. The holidays are coming, 4th of July, summertime. You want to go hang out with the family. Let's press the feet on the accelerator. Let's go for the extra bonus so that now you can enjoy it. On the time that you are back at work, you're already above the quota. You're already close to your 100%. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's the little stuff, how we teach it, how we do it, that creates, the biggest impact. I see it all the time, and so does Chris, so does you, Davis. When we look at metrics, when organizations, Fortune 5,000 companies have us come in to do sales workshops and trainings and blah, blah, blah. And now we apply little things. And they're like, oh my God, this is something so small that, because why? It's just the blind spots. You got so much on your plate. And that's why you need consultants. You need coaches. You know, that's why Jordan and Curry and all of them, they all have coaches. And you think, oh, why do you have extra coaches on the side? You already play for NBA. We all need a coach. We all need a consultant. We all need that big brother that's going to shake it up. And sometimes you need it at different areas of your life. Because if you have one wheel is off, we all know it's going to affect other areas.
No. Yeah, I mean, to me, I learned this, I heard this and applied it. And it can come across as negative. I don't see it as negative because, in life, you're always in one of three scenarios. You're either going into a problem, in the middle of a problem, or coming out of a problem. And most of the time, you're in all three phases at the same time, depending on what aspect of your life you're dealing with. Where you're talking about business, where you're talking about personal life, there's always things, but it depends on how you look at it. Because, if we can't grow without adversity, we can't grow without resistance. It's just like going in the weight room. You can't get stronger without increasing the resistance. And so in order for us to be able to continue to grow, and for business leaders and even people in the military, whatever we're talking about, they're not going to continue to grow and get better unless they learn how to deal with the resistance. And the more resistance you can take on and be able to handle, the stronger and better you're going to be.
Amen. So true. And it's got to be, something that, to the point, you got to share it, because the more you drip it, not telling people what to do, but sharing, sharing it in video, sharing it in posts, sharing it when you speak, sharing it on podcasts, lives like this. That consistency is what gets into people's subconscious minds over time to make those shifts for themselves. No.
Yeah. And this is something that I really challenge you guys listening to us. Like, speaking about sharing and putting out content, be very tactical. Like, really think about a lot of the things that we talk about here today and pause before you put in that content, right? Like earlier, I was telling you about the 5 content strategies. One, which is like, know your audience, right? From way deeper, from the subconscious level, right? So now you remember that the subconscious can only say yes, right? Conduct surveys and polls. Understand what are the things that your clients want, so that you can continue having more and more conversations, repeated businesses. And then 2 is, what is your unique style of your voice? How is your client and audiences and future clients, how do they even love to consume and to learn? Are they kinesthetically? Are they visual? You see, a lot of people, they don't think about those things, Davis. And Chris and I, you know this because we always talking about. And sometimes it's just by going very tactical. I'm like, okay, my audience, I notice when I look at my blogs and my videos and my shorts and my reels and long form videos, short form videos, I notice this particular one gets the most engagement, gets the most shares, gets the most comments. Okay, why not double down on that? And a lot of social media now, you can even boost it. You can boost that post. Now you put 10, 20, 100, $1,000. So now you have social media goes and find you more people like that. And now they will come into your world. And like I said earlier, I don't know if I said that here on the other stage, 7 billion people there. It's not that hard to find 10 to 12 people a year to give you 5, 10, 20 grand. And now you're making 1, 2, 300 grand. Not an income claim, but it's not that hard. It's which tactics are you using to get there faster, right? To shrink the sales cycle, right? Think about it's quality over quantity, right? You focus on producing high quality content that's gonna mind blow them. When you guys see me sharing, you're like, wow, this is great stuff. When I was sharing at the beginning of the show, right? And you focus on putting out great quality content that's not fluff, that's actually actionable strategies. Now they're taking something when they go home from the event, from the podcast, from the stage, because you focus on quality over quantity, putting 20 pieces of content a day that one person likes versus like, hold on, let me just put maybe once a day, every other day, once a week. You'll be way better off by being very tactical before putting that once a week or twice or 3 times, ideally once a day, then putting 5, 10, 20 times a day, as you've seen people putting it out there. And then, focus on other things like visual. the visual appearance, focus on the quality of your audio, focus on the backgrounds, right? If you are in a city and you want to use a famous, like when I'm in Silicon Valley, so I might use the Bay Bridge in the back. If I am in New York, I might be by the World Trade Center or by the New York Bridge. If I am in DC, right? You focus on leveraging the things in your cities and your town that people are familiar with. And then you start doing a content from that place, because we already have neurologically things in our brain within those images and backgrounds. You know what I mean? It's like bringing that level of awareness and tactics when you are producing content for your show and newsletters and whatever, that you're going to see it, things moving faster, and make it interactive. Like, when you are going live, if somebody comments, asking, if you see viewers watching us live, asking them to interact. Hey, tell me a question, asking me anything. What is that something that's keeping you up at night? Put yourself out there. If you don't know how to answer, great question. Let me get back to you on that. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? It's really having that level of interaction and process, being tactical, and you guys will see so many more stages, CEOs, CMOs, whoever is your avatar that you wanted to bring into your space, they will see it. They will connect it. Because like I said, 7 billion people, you cannot tell me that you're not going to find 10 or 12 every year to rock and roll. So that's why I wanted to really bring that back and reemphasize for anybody here that's struggling with content or getting on more stages or bringing more clients. Listen to this episode, take some notes, follow us on social media, and consume. Literally, Chris has an incredible radio show podcast. Listen up. Myself, we got an awesome podcast, Carlos Inspire Show. Listen up, Google us, take a screenshot of this, and watch it. Watch how we interview others. Watch the level of questions and watch how we produce content. And success leaves trends. And then watch the magic happen and compound over time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I made Chris a promise that we would not go over time today. So, and I'll be honest with you, this has been an outstanding episode. I love the conversation. I love the insights from everybody, and it's in my mind right now. I think we need to do a part 2, with this, and I think it would be outstanding. So maybe we can get something like that on the books. But just as we getting wrapped up. Each one of you just give a minute for a final thought and tell everybody how to get a hold of you, and then we'll get closed out.
Yeah, I'll just go real quick. I'll just say, I hope everybody got great value from today's share. Again, Carlos shared a lot of great points. And then Davis, to your point about resilient leadership, tying that back in, I would just say, whatever resonated with you, take that and do one thing that you haven't done to change that can change you. And by changing you, it's going to reflect in your communication, behavior, attitude, emotions, and action to help somebody else do the same. If you'd like to reach out to me, you could reach out to me here on LinkedIn, as well as ChristopherSalem.com. That's my speaker executive coaching source. And then sustainablesuccess.net for the business acceleration and sales acceleration strategies.
Awesome. Yes. No, outstanding, guys. I really enjoyed the show. And I'm over here on LinkedIn as Carlos Cicada. And I'm on Instagram as Carlos Inspire, on TikTok as Carlos Inspire, and then YouTube, Carlos Inspire. So if you guys love, great quality, high-level content on business acceleration strategies, getting paid to speak on stages, putting out content in a tactful way that's going to bring you more clients, increase your brand, follow me there. If you guys want to go on my site, my speaker site and coaching site and business acceleration site is carlosinspire.com. And then if you guys want to learn about how to get paid to speak on stages and shrink the sales cycle, you can go to getonmorestages.com. And, I want to leave that with you guys. And I'll leave you guys here with my favorite quote, which is something that my grandma always tells me, which is life is all about the mission, never the commission. And whenever you guys feel like giving up, you feel like quitting, walk away from your job, your family, or your business, Just remind yourself, man, that you are so close to that goal. Remind yourself that somebody else out there is maybe struggling a little bit more. Remind yourself that the days that breaks us are truly the days that makes us. God bless.
Awesome. And I'm Dr. Davis McAllister. You can find me on drdavismcallister.com. Truly, go to these guys' LinkedIn, find them on LinkedIn, find their websites, reach out to them, take advantage of the opportunities that they have out there for you to help you continue to grow. And with that, we're going to sign off, and everybody have a great day and succeed.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Approach. Please hit that like button and subscribe for the latest episodes. If you would like to be a guest or would like for Dr. McAllister to speak at your business or event, you can email him at info@drdavismcallister.com. You can also go to his website at drdavismcallister.com.
All right.